Hi, welcome to Kitchen Table Conversations with Kjessie and
Andre.
Multicultural Family Hub. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to talk about something that happened last night that was surprising.
Before that, though,
What?
can we talk about how we're wearing matching
You love.
sweatshirts, navy blue?
I only own two navy blue things, and Andre
I
only
own
wears navy blue.
lots of navy blue and denim. And
So
so I like to take this as
I
my
guess,
fashion influence is influencing the whole family.
oh, I guess
This is our
technically,
third, I think our second or third recording with either just us or with other people where we've shown up wearing the same navy blue,
maybe a navy.
navy on navy sweatshirts.
I don't know.
Anyway,
I don't
it's
know what that
snowing
is.
outside, so it works.
It's snowing outside and it's April 1st.
So,
That's the mountains April Fools. It loves to snow on April 1st.
yeah.
And all my little plants are like, and I'm like, I know you could do it, babies. Um,
But back to last night.
yeah, so last night, it was after dinner. I had made some chili that was not too
Oh,
spicy.
chili
This
again.
was legitimately the first time I've
It
made
was,
chili since the spicy chili episode. If you haven't listened to it, it's a
go
really
back.
good one. I think it's number 2. Perfectly spiced last night.
So it was spiced less last night. Last night. It was not
Yeah.
over spiced.
No, it was
It was
perfectly
perfect.
spiced.
Yeah.
Said my children. Um, so after dinner, I was watching Andre and I was feeling really upset because I was watching him wipe the sink in the middle of dishes.
I was
And
cleaning up.
and Andre is a wiper. Like
Yeah,
he
well,
wipes everything all the time.
oh,
And
yeah.
I'm getting upset because I'm like, why are you wiping while doing dishes? You're still doing dishes. This is so inefficient.
It would be like taking a shower, then getting out and drying off and getting back in.
I'm glad you understand me. So I voiced this, and then we both get curious. It's because I'm like, Andre, ugh, like, why are you wipe? Look at you, like you're always wiping. You're in the middle of dishes. And I said, I get so annoyed because, no, first you said,
No, I think he said you're like, it's so annoying and irritating to be in here because you're wiping everything. Said something to that effect.
yeah. And then
And then
you said,
because going back to previous episode we talked about, I have done enough work to well, I guess the first thing I'll say is her words didn't match the level of frustration and irritating she was. I was like, the words I'm irritated that you're wiping the kitchen didn't match the energy and how irritated and upset she was. So I was like, this can't just be about the wiping. So this is all happening in my head.
but you said like it doesn't mean like
But
doesn't affect you.
yeah,
And
I knew that that her being upset about me wiping didn't mean anything about me. But I got curious in terms of like what's really going on here because I knew it couldn't just be about this crazy dude wiping these counters.
so I thought I don't want to be in here while you're wiping because I it takes so much longer. Like you wiping means we both have to be in the kitchen longer while you clean it, while we clean up from dinner. Um, and really that made me even more frustrated because the next level was that I don't want to be in here cleaning up at all. I don't want to be in here cleaning up because I just spent an hour and a half in the kitchen making a beautiful meal and like everything from scratch and like and then set the table and kids sat down for 5 minutes and gobbled everything up and then it's over and I'm like done and I'm done.
Mm.
So that was like the level, like the wiping was,
That was the surface
it
level.
was surface level, but I had not been asking for the thing I needed, which was I don't want to be in here after dinner helping clean up. So I had a story because, probably over a year ago, Andre had like asked somewhat huffily because I was trying to leave. He said, like, can you please stay and clean up? It goes a lot faster if both of us clean up. So I felt shame because I was like, oh, I should be helping. And so from that moment on, which is at least a year ago, and that was like, I don't have permission to not clean up after dinner.
Yeah.
Fair?
Even though I asked that a year ago, it's not like I have said that since. It was just that time I asked it, but the story that was created from that request was so strong that even throughout the year, Kjessie had been essentially allowing that story to do what?
And well, for
Yeah.
me, harbor frustration because I was
Yeah.
like, I shouldn't be in here cleaning up. I don't want to be in here cleaning up. This is
Mm,
so unfair. And this is like the story that's on repeat for me the whole time I'm cleaning up. But really, like,
mm,
Andre was not attached to that at
mm,
all.
mm. Yeah. Yeah. And so
So from that, I mean, I guess, but I don't know. You go.
well, I think this is where, there's a skill that I like to call like dropping down when it comes like to coaching or working with people. And so, we can this story really applies here. The first thing that happened was her sharing the frustration of me wiping the counter, right? But if you take that at surface level, if you're the partner on the receiving end of that, you might go, oh, well, you know, I don't, that seems ridiculous, or oh,
Whatever,
what's the
that's just
big
how I
deal,
do it.
or well, that's just how I do it. And the conversation
You should be
ends.
happy I'm doing this at all.
Yeah. So if you stay at the surface, it's all kind of irrational. It doesn't make any sense. It's meaningless. It just causes a bunch of tension, but you never get to resolve anything. You actually never get to what's actually going on. So what dropping in is, it's saying, it's taking the time if you're in the situation and someone's communicating something to you to really, it doesn't have to be long. It could take 5 seconds, but it could take 2 minutes to really look at that person and say, does this person's words match their emotion or their energy or just all the nonverbals? It's like when you ask someone, are they okay? And they go really angry, like, yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah, I'm fine.
They're not. So in this situation, same thing. It's like the wiping the counters is so annoying and irritating. And it's like, huh, her emotions and her body language and all the nonverbal communication was like, I'm upset about something that obviously is bigger than you ridiculously wiping up things the way you do. And so that made me curious. So when you drop in first, you kind of notice, does the words match everything else about the communication? If it doesn't, then you get to go curious. Then you get to get curious. And in this case, it was able to say, okay, is this, and I think this is what I said, is this really about the tables? Or is this really about the way I clean up? And that opened up a little door, right? It opened up a little door, a small little door for Kjessie then to go to choose on her end, am I curious enough to walk through this door and then share what's really going on? And then so you did. You chose to walk through that door, and then you were able to kind of share with me
I
of
think
like,
subconsciously I knew like that was the path I wanted it to go down.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
this is my way of bringing up the
yeah,
frustration. And
yeah.
so in some ways it's like I had placed a subconscious door there hoping
Mhm.
that you would find
She
it.
plays like a carrot, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes we need our part. She placed a carrot there, and sometimes this is where we need our partner, in this case me, to be curious enough to go, okay, there's something here. I don't know exactly what it is yet. I might not be able to articulate it, but if I pay attention, I can listen to my intuition and go, okay, there's something more here. Then I get to choose. Okay, I'm gonna go for the carrot. And when you do that, it opens up a little opportunity. So now I'm curious, she knows I'm curious. And then it goes, now she's kind of leading me, or at least allowing me to kind of go on the journey of what's the next step below that. So when I say, hey, is this really about the wiping? Is there more going on here? Then it's like, yes. And that's when she shared, a year. I don't want to speak for you in that one, but what you were then
Well,
able to
the
share.
next thing that I shared was like basically the inefficiency that was bothering me.
Mm,
It was like, well, this is inefficient and like I don't want to be here any longer than I have to be cleaning up, which then opens up the next
Then there's the
layer.
next one, because then I'm kind of still looking at that going, okay, that it is inefficient, but is that so, like, could that be, does that match how frustrated this person is? It still wasn't. So it was like, okay, I get that. Is there anything else? Is that all there is? And then it's like, and you'll notice people usually didn't take a breath. They usually go, actually,
Yeah.
now that you asked. And there's usually a breath before that. Because there's like they're kind of deciding, your partner's deciding, okay, do I want to? Okay, I do.
I think it's like it's
It's
safety
safe. Yeah,
because it's
this
like
is safe.
You're taking in that inhale because it's like what I'm about to do feels scary. Feels scary because for me, I've shared on here before, one of the biggest challenges is saying what I need
Mhm.
in plain terms.
Mhm.
So this for me was like, it was a win, but it took like a few levels to
Yeah.
get there. So the inhale is like, I'm about to do something
Mhm.
scary. And so even just noticing that for the person who's about to do something that's out of the typical pattern
Yeah.
and for the
Yeah.
person that's like being the partner that's being
Yeah, if you're
curious.
curious, really watch when people take a big, you and your partner takes that big, like know that they're probably about to reveal something, or at least they're like they're getting closer. And so, and this is something I have to work on. Don't try to guess, don't interject, like be super patient. Like let it come out because what's coming out is going to be the next thing. So we started with it was about the wiping. It was below that. Okay, it's irritating. Okay, now we've asked, so now there's something still below that, which was then open the door for.
I don't want to be help I don't want to be cleaning up in the kitchen after dinner. Like it's I'm frustrated that I have been. I'm frustrated. Yeah, I'm like frustrated because I think even saying it out loud, like I was frustrated because it feels like the work that I do in grocery shopping, meal planning, making dinner is like taken for granted.
Mm,
And it's just like, oh, and I
yeah,
guess I have to clean up too. So
yeah.
it was like there was like multi levels of
Yeah.
frustration.
And then when she revealed that, it was even more curious because it was like, at the end, she said, I guess I have to do this too. And so that got me curious because I'm like, well, where did you get that? Like, who said that? Who's like that's not a rule. That's not even something stated in our relationship. So where did this thought come from? And then she was able to
And then I was
reveal
still, and then it, like I was frustrated then because I'm like, well, like you, right?
to
Like you
you, and
asked
I'm
me
like,
to.
the other wiper guy. But then she said, no, a year ago. And you're like, and this
And it
happened.
might have happened like it happened maybe like a
Yeah,
year ago
yeah,
and a year and a half ago,
yeah.
right? Where it's like I tried to sneak out and it was like, no, I need your help, right? And so
But what?
keep like for me having this like the story feeling
Mm,
intense, like, oh no, if I don't help, like Andre's gonna be upset or I'm gonna
mm,
be a I'm not doing my job or
mm,
I should be contributing
yeah,
more, all those
yeah.
like cascade of
And
thoughts.
this is the power of story. It really doesn't matter if it was 2 weeks ago, a year ago, 2 years ago. Oftentimes once you get curious about something that your partner is upset with, you will often find that there is a timeline or a delay from when something happened once to what they're still holding on to. And sometimes it can be years, and sometimes it might not. It might be a month ago, and you're like, and you're kind of going, yeah, I asked that innocently because I really needed help. But it doesn't matter. It's that they create a story about it, and that story is still true in their mind until these moments happen. So in that moment, once I heard that, I was like, okay, now that matches the frustration and the emotion
Right.
of here I am, I've done all this prep, I prepped this amazing food, and yet I still have to quote unquote be in here helping clean up. I don't want to be here. There are other people that can be doing this. There's other people that can be contributing. This is irritating and it's frustrating, and I'm upset about it. So then because I'm still curious now, I asked her, I said, well, you don't have to be in helping. Do you need permission to not like to go away? And you said,
And I felt like in that moment, kind of like a release, but also this like small, like, yeah, I do.
mm-hmm,
And in this like, it's not in this like patriarchal head of the household
yeah,
man way. It is this like, um,
support,
this outside
yeah,
support that
support.
says, yeah, no,
Go take care of
go.
yourself. Yeah.
You need to take care of yourself. You deserve to take care of yourself. Like,
Mm,
you've done enough. You are enough, right?
mm,
All those pieces, that permission is support.
mm. And so I was then able to go, oh, here's a way that my partner has shared that I can support her and take care of herself, which is to say, like, and I'll come back to why it's not necessarily this isn't the first place I go, is to say, like, hey, just in case you were wondering, I got this. Like I don't, and even more important, like I would like you not to be in here because I want to pick up this part. And so me not just assuming that she knows that, me being like, no, this, I got this. I got the dishes thing and I get to do it in my way, and I get to put my earbuds in and listen to podcasts and wipe it all down, take like an hour wiping, and I love it, and it's cool. But it's like, but then it's allowing her permission. Like, there's you can if you choose to be here, great, but you don't have to be in here. In fact, I don't need you in here. Go take care of yourself. Go do something that brings you joy. And this is where culture is important. And the reason why is because I grew up in a culture where I watched the adults model for me that if there was something you were interested in, if there was something that was good for you, you did it. Like you didn't ask permission. You were just like, hey, I think I want to go visit France. I'm going to save up some money. You didn't like necessarily ask around and say, is it a good idea? Should I go? What do you think? What do you think? Oh, sure. Is that going to make something? And so as I was growing up, I just watched people move in this way. So for me, culturally, I have to sometimes take a step back and understand that not everyone grew up in that kind of culture. So some people, it's a bigger leap for them to say, hey, I need to fill in the blank, or I am going to fill in the blank. And
Mm.
so I end up not asking, or I end up not providing that support that's needed because my culture and still part of my brain assumes that everyone who's over 18 is going to be able to identify what they need, identify what's good, and they're just going to do it. And so that we didn't grow up in the same
I
cultures.
would say that has probably been one of the biggest
Yes.
cultural struggles in our relationship is I grew up in a culture where you ask permission to do everything, especially women. You ask permission, yeah, you ask permission to do everything and you need permission and you ask a lot of different sources and you put everyone's needs ahead of your own. And so asking for what I need is so A, hard to even identify, and B, takes me a long time to do, and then takes even longer to like get up the to say it. So this has shown up, and I think as we're talking, this has shown up multiple ways, is that there were so many times when Andre, because it was in his culture, will just be like, I know what I need, this is what I'm gonna do, and then I do it. And he'd be gone. And I'd be like, oh, and I would just feel angry because I had so many unmet needs and I couldn't, I didn't know even how
It's
to
like that
start.
the road runner when he takes
Yes.
off and there's the cloud. You're like, what do you mean you're just gonna go? I don't
Yeah.
even know what I would be doing. Something
Yeah.
ridiculous, probably.
Yeah. No, I'm sure you thought it was helpful.
Yeah.
So just to say like those cultural pieces are so important and can cause so much conflict, and to identify that and like you said, to be able to say, wow, one way I can support you is to say, you have my permission. Go. And
Yeah.
also, I know in here that I don't need permission.
Mhm.
But the rest of me is still catching up to that. And so to hear,
Yeah.
like it is
It's in
so
our bodies.
supportive
Yeah.
for you to say that, to
Yes.
say like, hey, that's good. Yeah,
You're
yes,
done.
go. You
You're
got it.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so this is like this. So the skill is, it's called, I like to call it dropping down or dropping in. And like I said, the first thing is what your partners, are their words matching their tone, their energy, or specifically their body language? And they say 70% of our communication is nonverbal. So when somebody says something, that's 30%. And you can look at that other 70% and say, okay, this matches. And if it doesn't, don't ignore it. Don't just go, okay, whatever, or don't make it about you. Kind of get curious. Say, okay, I know there's more here. And so I'm just gonna open up a door and ask it. Say, like, hey, is there more going on? Or is there something I'm missing? Or is there more you'd like to share with me about this? And as you drop, sometimes there's 5 levels, sometimes there's two, but just go ahead and assume if there's a disconnect between their words and the rest of their communication, know that what they're upset about is probably the thing they're saying is probably not the thing that is the conflict. So the conflict really wasn't about
Mm.
how my cleaning technique. It's not. It's irrelevant. It's just like it doesn't matter. What could have been a conflict is right? Is when we drop down was needing permission to take care of ourselves, not recognizing when your partner is picking up and holding, kind of assuming that they don't need your verbal support in taking care of themselves. Those things can be the conflict, and those are the things that are the sub-level conflicts that can sit and fester and then grow resentment, and eventually they cause a rupture. So it really is about curiosity. And I do
I'm getting
think,
so emotional
yeah,
just
sorry.
thinking about it because I think about as you're describing it, like how, and it takes so much work to, on your end, to be
Yeah, I
able
should probably.
to hold that, hold, it's like a hold the criticism, hold whatever it is, hold those emotions of mine like apart from you to be able to get curious.
Mhm.
Because it, if someone came at me like that about a certain thing, I like um like if Andre came at me and was like, why do you grocery shop like that? That's so inefficient. I might
Meaning, why you go with our kids? Because that's a different podcast.
we'll talk about that story later. Um, I do everything I can to avoid taking our children to the grocery
That's definitely
store.
the next one.
So just being able to hold it apart and then get curious and not having like a full body reaction to perceived criticism when it's not about you.
Yeah.
And it makes me emotional because I think there's this is of the scope of our like 14-year relationship, this is newer, right?
Yeah,
And so these
right.
skills, and just for
Yeah.
me thinking about the tension and the pain and the conflict before being able to have these skills, and just I was just remembering after Andre kind of gave me permission last night, just that this I was like shaky and like, wow, that feels so much lighter. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think even the word, permission is so loaded and has a whole history behind it. But I
Yeah, I
think it's
agree.
like the visual I can take in is like you're carrying something heavy and you've
Yes.
carried it a long way. And it's just like somebody, in this case, your partner recognizing going and just going, I got this.
Yeah.
And by them taking it, it allows you to stand up straighter, take a break, relax. And that is what I think that as a family and as partners, we are constantly doing when we're supporting each other throughout today is sometimes Chessie's got it. And it allows me to kind of take a break and stand up and catch myself. And then it's a back and forth. And I think it's important, like, especially in like the podcast space and the coaching space, a lot of times we present like the end product of something. And so the skill what we are talking about and that I demonstrated, I want all of you guys to know, in the 14 years, we're talking that's the last 2 to 3 years that I've been able to get to that place with a lot of practice and work. But those other years before that, those other 11 or 12, massive errors, tons of mistakes. There was many nights and days that I didn't like I got it really wrong, didn't pick up the signs, wasn't curious, made it all about me, I did all the errors that you can make as a partner. I've done them. And so that's kind of why we're sharing this is because if I would have had just that small skill of pausing, not, and when we say not make it about you, here's what that really looks like. And Kjessie says, I'm irritated about how you wipe the counters. You have a choice, right? You can let someone's words, which I've done professionally and I've done this personally. You can let someone's words land on you
Mm.
mentally and physically. And when they do that, it's very hard to then not feel attacked or not feel like you're somehow under some sort of threat or not safe. And then your reaction then is going to be to defend yourself. So it is like a little bit of a dance when those words are coming. If you can pause before just allowing them to land on you, if you can just kind of pause
I feel
and
like you caught them.
hold the kitchen.
Yeah, you like caught
Like,
them and you held them
yeah.
and were like,
Yeah. And like literally kind of go, oh, there's just, and you can kind of catch them. And I mean, you can visualize this, you can catch them. And imagine when you catch something, you're still holding it, but it's not internal, it's external. So then you're able to look at it, kind of look at it different angle, hold it up and be like, what is this thing? Instead of catching it and assuming I know what this comment means, catch it and assuming someone's throwing you an object you've never seen before. And you're like, I don't know anything about this. How would I figure out what this is? Okay, I would ask, where'd it come from? I would ask, what's its purpose? I would ask, is this all of it or are there more parts to it? Like, you could, and then you would eventually be, oh, that's what that is. And then you get to have the beautiful choice of holding it and going, oh, I love that. I'm going to put that in my backpack. Or you know what? We're going to put this one down. This one doesn't serve us. But the more you know about that question, the more you can go deeper and deeper and deeper and understand that the thing that was thrown at you, that was a distraction. That first comment is a that's like a teaser. It's not the real thing. So you're like, no, it's not that one. Oh, there's another one. Okay. It's not that one. Then that third or fourth one comes and you're like, oh,
There's the thing.
this is the thing. And this makes the conversation meaningful. And the last thing I'll say is those conversations are healing.
Mm.
That first level conversation about how the way I wipe tables, it is disruptive. It doesn't serve Kjessie. It doesn't serve me. It doesn't serve our kids. It doesn't serve the culture we're creating. But that deep conversation about needing support, about holding space and allowing your partner to go take care of themselves, that that conversation are the seeds of generational healing. And this is not happening on like top of a mountain in Tibet, or like a beautiful serene landscape. Like it's happening right here in your everyday. If your
Kitchen
kitchen
while our
table is
while
like
our
ours
daughter
by
was
dinner,
like singing karaoke into
yeah,
a
yeah,
microphone.
Ruby had a karaoke microphone singing in like a Darth Vader voice. Is all. So you can create this, you know what I mean? These things in your real life. It does take that practice and it does take pause, and that's the one thing I'll say is where I'm at now and where we are at now is I would say a lot of the things and the skills that I'm going to share with you guys dropping in is one of them. The first ingredient of that is you have to pause. The thing is said, pause and take as long as you want.
I like the visual of
Yeah,
holding it where
yeah,
you're
catch
like,
it.
oh,
Don't let it hit you in the face like a dodgeball. Because that's what we do. We're like, oh, and
yeah.
they're like, would you throw that dodgeball in my face? I'm bleeding. I'm so mad. And it's like, well, why don't you put your hands up, dude? I don't know. Maybe that's
I
too
think
hard.
putting your hands up
Wasn't
for
that a movie, dodgeball? All right, never mind.
Will Ferrell.
Should be.
It
Oh,
will, is Will Ferrell for
okay.
sure.
Yeah. So don't
Um,
be like getting hit in the face with a
but
dodgeball.
I was thinking about with your partner, like I think it's important to figure out what you want to catch and when you want to catch it
Yeah.
too, right?
Yeah.
Because there are moments when your partner throws something out, and last night was not that. Last night I think was a catchable moment
We had
where we
space
needed to
ads.
like
Yeah.
open the
Yeah.
door, right? But there's moments where your partner will say something and you just need to like matrix move it and
Yeah.
be like, oh, nope, I'm not catching that. That wasn't meant for me.
Yeah.
That wasn't meant for me.
Or yeah. Sometimes it's literally not meant for you, and you're like, oh, that. Or you might catch it, and you go, I'm gonna hold this so I can, and we're gonna come back to it at a time and a space that I can actually ask those questions. So it might not be in the car where the kids are screaming, or it might not be when you guys are in transition trying to go somewhere. But you keep like, okay, I'm not gonna. I'm curious enough that I'm not just gonna like put it down and assume it's nothing, you know. And for us, some of our deepest, most meaningful healing conversations have started off with things that seemed so quote unquote
Wiping,
innocent or
wiping, right?
wiping the table that I've wiped
It wasn't the table, it's
thousands
the
of a
sink. The
sink. It was a
sink.
sink. I wiped the table too. I'll wipe anything.
You wiped like
I
that
actually wiped this
all.
computer screen right before this recording.
He did. I was
What can I
very
say?
happy
Wax
about
on,
it.
wax off.
I still see a spot on my nose.
I'll get that.
Okay.
Anyway, so that's a story we have. That's our Kids Table story this week. And the skill in this one is dropping in, pause, listen, listen to the words. The words match the energy. Do they match your partner's body language? If not, get curious. There's not a prescription of what to do after that. Your curiosity will drive the next question. It could be something simple. Is that all? It could be, what do you mean by that? It can be, I feel like there's more here. Is there more? Every question you ask that comes from a place of curiosity, as long as you have the energy of curiosity, your partner will be able to pick that up and go, oh, this is safe for me to reveal more. It can't come from I'm an interview. like I'm questioning you to get to da, 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 da. It's like, no, I don't know about this and I'm curious. I'm coming from a place of learning. And then that allows your partner to see this is safe. I'm safe. And then they get to get curious
Mm.
and decide if they want to walk through, or they might say, yeah, I want to walk through with this. Let me think about it some more and let's talk about it when,
We talked about
whatever.
curiosity last week too.
Yeah, it's my
It's
favorite
a common topic.
skill currently.
Sammy Snake.
Skill,
Yeah.
curiosity. Because I did, yeah, anyway, we'll talk about that. Yeah, because I do
Um,
think it's a skill.
it is.
Yes.
I wanted to share that as a win
Yes, that
too.
was a
That
one.
was like to me, as someone who really struggles to ask for what they need, I did not do that perfectly. First, I started criticizing Andre and his wiping.
I'll show
So,
you guys one day what I do.
but like I said, I'm not there yet because I feel like I still struggle to come right in and be like, oh, this is what I need and identify it and speak it. So it took both of us
Mhm.
and Andre knowing Andre's curiosity and me being willing to walk it down the line to like get to the win. And I'm curious to know in
Yes.
your relationship if you can identify,
Mhm.
because I think this is like a really common
Yeah.
cultural point of tension, which is there one person in your relationship that is better at asking for what they need and one person who really struggles with it?
Mhm.
If you have that or can identify that or
Yeah.
think about it, if you'll
Love to know.
drop it in the show
Yeah.
notes, that would be awesome. We would
Yeah.
love, or sorry, in the
In the
comments.
comment. And
We
you know,
would love
and
to hear.
what type of conflicts or what type of situations has that created for you guys? We just want to know because maybe it's similar to us, or maybe it's wow, it's a
Yeah.
common thing, but it creates different sets of conflicts depending on who you are, where you are in your life journey.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I want to remind you we're going to open up Multicultural Family Hub, the community, starting in June. We're
Yes.
still working on stuff. It's
Very
getting
exciting.
closer and more exciting.
Yeah.
And we can't wait to share it with you. We are so thankful you are on this journey with us already and listening to kitchen table conversations. We hope that these nuggets are helpful and make you think and talk to your partner.
And I invite
Yeah.
all of you to go out and buy the most comfortable navy blue sweatshirt that you can and wear them while you listen to this. Because I think I got a thing going on here.
Do you need a Multicultural Family Hub navy blue
I,
sweatshirt?
you know what? Swag.
Okay,
That's
well,
it. And I
we
might
need
be the
to
only person that buys
no,
it, but I'm
no.
gonna wear it
We need
every
to have
time.
Andre swag
No,
and Kjessie swag
no.
because mine will be in yellows and teals
Okay.
and oranges, and Andre's will
Okay.
be navy blue.
I got a better one. How about some white rags? How about some anybody out there, a maker,
A
make
multicultural,
me some multi
I got multicultural family hub Swedish dishcloths. Those
that
things.
just do that for me. And that's all I need, honestly. If that's all that comes out of this experience, I feel like I've won.
I'll add it to
And
my
I'm gonna
to-do
need like
list.
200 of them. So because I do a
It's a
lot of
lot of
a lot,
wiping.
a lot of
I'm gonna
this, a
add
lot of
it
this.
to our to-do list.
All right. Well, it was great hanging out with you guys, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.